I'm really, really hungry. I know, I should see what my mom packed me in my lunch bucket. Let's see what I got. Oh, yay! I'm so very, very lucky. Oh, this is gonna satisfy all my cravings. She packed me a hand sandwich. Okay, crew, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna talk about a movie. In today's adventure, we're gonna talk about a movie that's very difficult to watch, but it's based on a true story. The one thing I like about horror movies is most of them are so out there, you know, that it's not realistic. Freddy Krueger, he gets you in your dreams. Granted, there are several ones that are kind of based on real monsters, real killers and stuff like that. There's a lot of things I don't believe in. So the one thing I enjoy about horror, to me, it's a little escapism because it takes me to a land where I feel, you know, half of the stuff can't happen. Evil Dead, the book, that's not going to happen in real life, at least not to me. I live in Ohio. And twice a year, there's a horror convention called the Cinema Wasteland. God, over 10, 15 years ago, I went and, you know, there's booth and there's vendors and I saw a movie called Cannibal. I've always liked cannibals. All right, I'm weird. It's because that's unfathomable too. Granted, it happens. There's tribes that do it, blah, blah, blah. That's a whole nother video. Cannibal community, don't come at me. But anyways, I read the back of this thing, okay? And I didn't know the story of this. I had never heard of the German Cannibal. I'll read the back, and this was enough to make me want to buy a movie that I had never seen. In 2003, a man with a lifelong cannibalistic obsession placed an advertisement, or advertisement, depending on where you're from, on the internet in search of a victim to eat. Crazy, yeah. Unbelievably, he received a reply from a willing victim, whereby the stage was set for one of the most awful and depraved crimes of modern times. The gruesome incident was captured on camcorder, that's true, and the footage formed a part of the evidence at the trial at the world's most infamous cannibal. Cannibal, this film, is a horrifying, dramatic reenactment. And that's a great way to phrase it for this film. Gruesome relationship between two depraved human beings. One with an insatiable appetite for human flesh, the other with a yearning to be consumed and thereby become one with the predator. Okay, this is the stuff, darkest horror. This is real, okay? This is real. When I saw this, and this wasn't even that long ago. This film came out in 2006 by Unearthed Films. This, my friends, is a hard DVD to find, and I have it. It's real. It's not a bootleg. There's nothing fancy inside. It's just bare bones. I've watched this movie maybe 3 times in the entire existence of me having it. It's a hard movie. It's a hard movie to watch. It's filmed in Germany. And it was actually banned. This movie is banned in Germany. I don't know if it still is, but it was. I'm willing to sell this. If anyone watching has a remote interest in this movie, I looked it up online. I couldn't find it on like the rare horror DVD websites. Amazon had it for like $155. Okay? I rewatched it for this review, and I just don't think I'm ever gonna watch it again. It's one of those films, it's one of those incidents in history where you tell the story to someone and they're like, what? A guy wanted to eat someone. He found someone and he ate him, and then he went out to find someone else, and that's how he got caught. The movie is very, it said it's a reenactment of what happened. This movie, there's maybe 10 lines in the whole film. There is not much talking. I think the very first sentence muttered in the movie is, "I am your flesh." The guy who wants to be ate meets up with the German cannibal, Armin, I think his name is in real life. Armin Meiwes? I always pronounce it Armin Meiwes, but I think it's Armin Meiwes. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, don't come at me. It is like a fly on the wall perspective. Basically, the movie starts out, it's very slow start, but it holds you and it builds. It's this man, Armin Meiwes, on the internet. And this is the story. He was on the internet on cannibal fantasy chat rooms trying to meet someone to eat. And he met, it shows in the film, he's meeting up with people. Everyone thinks maybe it's like a sexual fantasy. We'll play cannibal and then we'll call it a day. And this guy is like, no, I want to consume you. I want you to be one with me. And everyone's like, no, thank you, I'm out. Then he finds a guy that is willing to have this done. So I don't know who's more messed up, the cannibal or the guy who wants to be ate. Probably, I mean, they both are. Which one do you think's more messed up? Probably the guy who wants to be ate. And okay, there's a little bit of homosexuality. I don't know if Armin's gay, but the guy who got ate is gay. And in the film, they even show him getting ready to leave after he replies to the ad, and he leaves his lover. The guy that got ate had a boyfriend, and they lived together. Imagine your boyfriend or whoever, your significant other, you're living with them, you have a good life, you could see your future together, and then one day they up and leave, and you're like, oh, where's Joe? Oh, Joe, he got ate by the cannibal. I'd be scarred for life. I'm like, I'm a terrible lover, I'm a bad partner, I can't be in any relationships anymore because my partner's gonna want to get ate. So basically the movie starts off with Armin meeting potential people, then he finds this guy. Basically, he takes him home and they spend some time together. And then basically there's this scene in the film where Armin goes into the kitchen to get them tea, and he comes back out to like the living room, and the guy that wants to be ate he's stripped down, he's naked, and he's just sitting there with his legs spread wide open and his members getting there, if you know what I'm talking about. They spend some time together, they kiss, they laugh, they play. There's a scene in the film where they're outside like playing bocce ball or something like that, and they're naked the entire time. So if you're uneasy with a little bit of homosexuality, this might not be the film for you. But don't even view it as, homoerotic. Just view it as this is what happened, and this is a crazy story, and it really shows you what it was like during this period in these people's lives. Is really crazy. And I'll show you real quick a whole book about it. And I have it. I like cannibals because it's so crazy. Who would do this? Would you eat someone? I wouldn't. The true story behind the man-eater of Rotenburg. This is called Cannibal. This is a good book. And there's pictures inside. I'll show you real quick. It shows you like his house. Mess. Little Norman Bates-ish, if you know what I'm talking about. Here's the guy. That's the one that got ate. And the actor they picked in the film looks just like him. And then they show pictures of like the kill room. Messy. Here's that cannibal. Here's Armin in his prison cell. Some would say he was a fine young cannibal. It's by Lois Jones. All right, Cannibal by Lois Jones. He is also mentioned in the book Cannibal Killers. Here I go. She's back at it again. I mean, this has everybody from Albert Fish to Ed Gein. It's got all our favorites. You gotta have Dahmer, Jeffy. I mean, we've all heard about cannibals. Even ancient tribes, even tribes that still exist in rural parts of the world, it's still happening. But when you hear that someone actually wanted to be ate, basically Armin, he did videotape this whole thing, and the man wanted to be castrated. And he, even in the movies, like, I want you to castrate me. I don't want to suffer, and I want there to be nothing left of me. That's like the only lines in the movie. And he did his job. It's a hard scene to watch, but it really happened. Armin, the cannibal killer, tries to bite off the guy's member. He's unsuccessful. I'm a woman. I don't have that appendage, but it's a hard scene even for me to watch. Here's me watching this whole movie. That's going to be your face, regardless of what you look like. That's gonna be your face during this whole movie. I kid you not. Take a picture, post it down below. He couldn't bite it off, so then he takes a knife, and they show it. It's very graphic. They take it and cuts it off, and Armin cooks it. He cooks it in a pan with some garlic and potatoes, and the guy's just bleeding out the, oh, what's the guy's name that got killed? I feel like that's a little disrespectful if I don't say his name. Bernd, B-E-R-N-D. It's just sitting there bleeding out, and they dine on it, and Armin gives Bernd a bite, a slice of the penis first, and he chews it. And I think he's just so weak and fatigued from all this blood loss from losing the thing. He just spits it out. And to me, there's a scene in the film with Bernd, the guy that got his thing cut off. I think almost a moment of regret where he's just sitting there and it just looks like, I wanted this and I don't even taste good. You know, like that's what I thought of. They found the appendage inedible. So that kind of sucked that Armin ate a piece too, and he even kind of spit it out. And I think that's when the movie cuts to Bernd with that look on his face like, he doesn't even like it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm sacrificing my life and everything. This was my dream and I'm not even tasty. But I guess other parts of him are tasty. Basically, after he cuts off the thing, he moves Bernd into a tub of hot water to help him just kind of bleed out. He ends up not dying from just bleeding out, loss of blood, so Armin does take a knife and, you know, kills him, puts him out of his misery. There's a scene in the film where they sign like a contract. But since Armin videotaped this whole incident, there's like 4 hours worth of footage. When he got caught and went to trial for this, they had this footage that showed, hey, this guy consented to this. Basically, once Bernd is dead, Armin takes him, I don't know if it's like to the garage or the shed, and very reminiscent of Ed Gein, if you know the images and the pictures of the woman strung up and kind of gutted like a deer, he does that to Bernd. And I mean, this scene lasts like maybe 15 minutes. I didn't count. I sat there like this the entire time. You know, he cuts them and he opens them, he's sticking his hands in there. You know, he's getting the parts, like my foot. You know, he's doing stuff like that. He's getting the liver and the organs, and he takes them out, and he's kind of, you know, reveling and enjoying them, and kind of not dancing around, but a very ritualistic kind of scene where he's enjoying what he wanted. And it kind of ends, kind of a weird scene, but I guess a nice way to end the film. It has Armin at the one of those long dining room tables, and there's all the food and candles and flowers. And then at the head of the table is Bernd's head. He does get decapitated. He's there watching. That's kind of the story. And then Armin, the cannibal guy, after this was all said and done, he went back into those chat rooms looking for more people. And I think some people who first responded to his ad and first realized this guy's for real, they alerted authorities, police, so naturally investigation happened, enough evidence and videotape of this incident, and they were able to prosecute him. And the funny thing was, this happened in 2001. He was arrested in 2002, so he didn't get away with it for that long. And he was convicted in 2004, I believe, of manslaughter. And here's the thing. He was only sentenced to 8 years imprisonment. Okay? Because it was manslaughter. Because he got consent. His victim was willing. His victim gave him consent. So that's why they couldn't really give him a life sentence. But then in 2005, some stuff happened. He was retried because they felt, if he's let out, he's going to do this again. He's still a threat to society. He got retried, and he is now serving life in prison. So he's locked up as we speak. Go write him a letter. Don't do that. I mean, if you want to, that's up to you. Why? So back to the film. Like I said, this film, it's very hard to watch. Everything you read about what happened, I feel, is in this movie. It's slow, but it holds you because you know how this is going to end. And it's just a fly on the wall perspective. It's probably, if not the hardest movie for me to watch, it's in the top 3. Directed by Marion Dora. It's the kind of movie that you tell someone about and they're like, whoa, I've never heard that before. Let's watch the movie. I hate to put it in the same sentence as Human Centipede, but I'll use that as an example. A doctor stitches up people together like a centipede. Well, fire up the DVD. Let's watch that, hoss. Don't recommend it, that kind of film. It's not good, but when you hear what the heck it is, it's like, well, I gotta watch it at least once. Watch it once. If you're interested in horror, whether you like it or not, it's probably the ultimate horror movie because it's real. And it's like the most unreal subject matter on the face of the earth. It's not really a movie review or a recommendation because you're gonna watch and be like, Angie, dang it! I'll go have horror nightmares forever now. So proceed with caution. It's rated NR, not rated. Do not have kids watch this. No. Even someone that's 15, 16, I don't even know, 18. Do not have an adolescent watch that film unless you want them to have a hefty therapy bill. Oh, neat little side note. Not just like Armin, he got tried and he had 4 hours of footage of this incident and they had to use that in the trial. The jurors got to watch this. And in the book, it tells you every juror got like free therapy for life after trial. It's a crazy movie. It's hard to watch. It's uncomfortable. There's nothing uplifting. There's nothing positive to it. After I watched this, I needed to watch like some comedy afterwards. So have a funny movie or something, or kitty cat videos up on YouTube ready for you. When you watch this movie, you're going to feel like you lived this. Thanks for watching, crew. And I am going to have some more movie reviews or just some weird movies that some people may have not heard of. Comment down below. Is there something specific you want my opinion on? Are you interested in finding this movie? Does your Uncle Remus have a copy? If not, get a hold of me. All right, crew. Thanks for watching, and sweet dreams. I think I'm going to go finish my hand sandwich.